But where we push the boundaries, as teenagers, we all want to rebel against our parents.
So do you think a law like this is not necessary, that they shouldn't be educated, or they should be criminalized?
I completely agree with you.
Do you think that they should be placed into jail because that's where they're going to learn their lesson?
You have two questions there. Your first question is, should we educate our children? Absolutely, we should educate our children. Should we criminalize them? Having worked in the New Jersey prison system, in the system for sex offenders, should we criminalize a 16-year-old and submit them to lifelong imprisonment?
Right.
No.
Okay.
But
that's the current state of the law that we're trying to change.
I agree with you.
But right now, the New Jersey legislature is trying to decriminalize the act. The Pennsylvania legislature, because this only applies to juveniles, there is no criminal conduct. The issue is the Megan's Law registration. Right now, if you are a teenager that sends or receives a sext, you are subject to Megan's Law. You will have to leave school, and your education will be deferred as a result of something that you didn't intend to do or you clearly intended to do. But the issue then becomes, who is it to teach the children? And that's where the prosecutors' offices, the court system, and the schools are the social network and net that step in and fill in for the parents who aren't doing the job.
Okay, on that note, I do have to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have some signs that you should be looking for if you think maybe your kids are sexting. What should you be looking for? Stay with us to find out. Okay, we are talking about sexting and the dangers of it. I can't imagine that there's any benefit to sexting, but if this conversation has gotten your attention, we're going to give you some signs and some clues that you should be looking for if you're a parent or a grandparent, that your child may or may not be involved in sexting. One is your child hiding his or her cell phone from you? And is that child protecting the password on their phone and refusing to unlock it at your request? Do you find sexual applications on your kid's smartphone? Any and all of these are things that should be sending out warning signs to you so that you can have a conversation with your child about sexting, about sexuality, and about the dangers that they're facing. And I know the conversation needs to be about sexuality and what, not just the legal ramifications, but let's talk a little bit very quickly about the impact this can have on a reputation. It's okay to embrace your sexuality, but the whole world doesn't need to know it, especially if you're in your teens.
Our brain doesn't finish forming until 21 to 25. And the last part of our brain that forms is the part that controls impulses. So our children who are not 21 to 25 don't understand that when they're sexting something, when they're doing something impulsively, that they're actually going to have long-term consequences for their behavior. So we need to teach our children that sexting is not an appropriate behavior because there's long-term consequences to what they're doing.
And you said earlier about reputation, and one thing I was thinking about during the break is it's fine to say, the word of mouth years ago was equally as devastating to the individual about whom was being spoken. But nowadays, it can go like that to 1 million people. I mean, people can post it on people can post it on the internet. They can put it on Facebook, on all these various social media sites. So I think the range of devastation and the impact just seems like it's so much more greater than it was when we were younger.
It's a really quick assumption to make, but there's no research to back that up. When we have a social situation, that's limited to the group that we have. That group is as devastating as the larger group. I'm not saying that a smaller group can't be as hurtful, but a larger group being more hurtful than the smaller group in terms of your school doesn't mean that the person's going to be more damaged.
Until an employer or a school looks at it and says, we're not taking this person.
I would have to tell you, there's a young lady, the example is there's a young lady in New Jersey who did not come forward because she shared a picture and her parents did not come forward on it, and it went viral in the school. She was bullied to the point where she couldn't go back to school. The reason why her parents did not come forward on it, because they knew that she could be tried as a Megan's Law sex offender. This is why we need to change this law. It went viral just like that. She would not go back to school.
Okay, we wish you the best of luck with that legislation.
It's not just cell phones. It's laptop computers that have picture and video capability in the house. They need to be in public locations. You need your children's passwords. It is your phone. If somebody asks you, if you are the mother or father, ask your child for the phone. You have the password at all times.
All right. Great advice as always. Thank you so much for being with us. And Ken, I know the conversation needs to be with the child about sexuality. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. If you want to tell us your personal story, email me at lynn@lynndoyle.net. Until the next time, thanks for watching.